Hello children, welcome to the first lesson, grade 9, Edexcel Mathematics A. So as I explained in my introductory video, I'm planning to deliver the lessons on unit basis. So this is unit 1 and when you take one unit, we do have separate sections. So then under the unit 1, the first part we do have number 1. Now you know what you want to do when you take your theory book. So this is the theory lesson. On Wednesday, you will get the exercise related, the sums discussion video. So then this is the theory one. So then what you want to do, you want to get your theory book. Now, if you have watched the first video, you know that what kind of the job you want to do with the theory book. So this is your first page. When you turn the page, this is the turn the book. This is the first page. You can see Edexcel IGCSE Mathematics A theory book and your name and your grade. And then you go to the second page. Then the second page, you have something like this. Working with fraction. Know that I will give you. This is the basics. So then here it should be, the topic should be in black color. This is the second page. So that is basics revision. So then the first lesson, we are just revising what you learn in grade 6, 7, 8. So this is the first part we are doing here. Under that, I'll explain you what kind of theory content we should revise, children. What kind of theory content we should revise. So then I'll tell you that these are very basic things which you have done in grade 6, 7, 8, but we want to revise everything without knowing or without having a knowledge with this, that we can't move forward. Now you just say you have positive 15 and positive 5. What will be the answer, children? Positive 20. The same way, if you have negative 15 and negative 5, what will be the answer? Negative 20. Right? Another example I will give you, positive 8 and positive 7. The answer will be positive 15. Negative 8 and negative 7, the answer will be negative 15. So then what is the theory we can learn here? So when we have, right, when we have the same signs, what we do? We add the numbers and use the common sign for the answer, right? So what I said, just see, when we have the same sign, positive, positive, or negative, negative. We have the same signs now. So what we are supposed to do, we just add the numbers. 15 and 5, it is 20. 15 and 5, it is 20. 8 and 7, it is 15. So you just add the numbers and you use the sign which is common for both these numbers. Positive 15, positive 5, so positive 20. Negative 15, negative 5, it is negative 20, right? But the answer is 20. The sign will be varied with the sign they had in the question. If it is positive, positive, the answer also positive. Negative, negative, the answer is also negative, right? So then I'll do the next example. Let's say you have positive 15 and negative 5, or negative 15, positive 5. Now what happened, children? That you have different signs. You have different signs. When you have different signs, you get the difference of the numbers. Difference 15 and 5, the difference is 10. Right? You put 10 here. And what will be the sign? You get the sign of the higher digit. I'm not saying the higher number. Later, I'll explain that why I'm using the digit instead of the number or the value. You know that we have learned the directed numbers, the number line, how the values are changing with the direction, the positive numbers and the negative numbers. We have discussed all these things. For the time being, I'll explain it like this. When you have the different signs, we get the difference of the numbers. 15 and 5, the difference is 10. And we use the sign of the higher digit. When I take 5 and 15, those two digits, we know the 15 is bigger. I'm just looking at the digit. I'm not looking at the value or the sign. If I take just the digit, 15 is the bigger digit. So then here 15 is having positive. Therefore, my answer is positive 10. And the next example, the 15 is having the negative sign. Therefore, my answer is negative. We'll do another example. Let's say you have positive 8 and negative 7. Or you have negative 8 and positive 7. Here that we do have the different signs. When you have the different signs, what we do, children? We get the difference of the numbers. 8 and 7, the difference is what? The difference is 1. I write here 1. And how I'm going to use the sign? To use the sign, I want to look at the higher digit. Here the higher digit is 8. So then the 8 is having positive here. And then the 8 is having negative here. Therefore, I use the sign accordingly. So then how I'm going to write? When we have the different signs, so what we do, we get the difference of the numbers and use the sign of the higher digit for the, right? So that is the explanation, right? So you just see that when we have the same sign, you want to add the numbers and use the common thing. And when we have the different signs, we get the difference of the numbers and use the sign of the higher digit for the answer, right? Use the higher sign of the higher digit. Now, if you want to copy down this, you pause the video and you copy down it and watch it. I'll explain it at once, but you can pause the video and copy down it. Then we will move to the next part. Let's say you have something like this. Let's say positive 10 multiplied by positive 2. Or negative 10, you multiply by negative 2. Okay. So 10 multiplied by 2, what is the answer, children? It is 20, no? It is 20. But what will be the sign? It will be positive, right? Positive times positive, the answer is positive. Negative times negative, the answer is positive. Let's say you have something like this, positive 10 divided by positive 2 and negative 10 divided by negative 2. What will be the answer? So this is again the 10 divided by 2, 5, no? So then I write here 5 and the answer is positive, right? You don't want to mention the positive sign here when you know that when you just write 20, we know it is positive 20. But here that I'm just showing you with the signs, but when you are doing the sums, no need to show it as positive 20. You can just write 20. 10 times 2, 20, 10 times 2, 20. But when you multiply the same sign numbers, positive, positive or negative, negative, you get a positive answer. Always you get a positive answer. And when you are dividing the numbers with the same sign, positive, positive or negative, negative, always you get a positive answer. So then we'll write the explanation. When you multiply or divide the numbers with the same sign, always you get a positive answer. Always you get a positive answer. So this is the third point we want to discuss. Then I'll give you that if you have positive 10, you multiply by negative 2, or negative 10, you multiply by positive 2. So like earlier, we know 10 multiplied by 2 is 20, but this should be negative 20. So that means positive, negative, positive times negative, negative, negative times positive, again it is negative. The same way, if you divide positive 10 by negative 2, or negative 10 by positive 2, that you know that the 10 divided by 2, it is 5, but this will be negative 5. So then how we are going to elaborate the answer here, children? We write, when we multiply or divide the numbers with different signs, right? With different signs, here it should be sign and the different sign. So then always get that we get, because all the other things get a negative answer, right? So those are the first the things you want to revise, right? So this is one thing I want to revise, that what happened, that when you're adding, that when you have the same sign and the different signs, and here we discuss what we need to do when we have the multiplication and the division. So then we will move to the, here that you can pause the video and copy down the things, Pute, right? That here we have that next we want to talk about the fractions, right? I'll write the subtopic now. Fractions, okay? So there I write that what is a fraction? It is a fraction is what? Fraction is a portion of something. And then fractions, we do have two types. In the proper fraction and improper fraction. So then if I have the fraction like this 2/5, you know that this is that I'm just revising everything what you have learned in the lower grades, numerator, and this we call the denominator. Why I'm writing everything, children, that you want to have a proper note from the beginning, right? That is the other reason I'm explaining that. By any chance, if you can't understand or if you can't remember what you learned in grade 6, 7, 8, so this will be an opportunity. And on the other hand, I want to have a proper, complete note. So then when you're studying for your Edexcel O-level exam, that you have a complete note from the beginning. You can help any of your friends in the school, that if you have the basics, that you just that they meet him or meet her during the interval, maybe that when you have a discussion, that let's say that you have a friend that who are struggling with maths, who are not good at maths. So then when you have something like this, that you, from the beginning, that you can help them also, that it's a very good resource for you to study by yourself and help others. So then we'll discuss that what is a proper fraction, that you know in a proper fraction, the denominator is bigger, right? Denominator is bigger and the improper fraction, numerator is bigger, right? Numerator is bigger, right? So then what does that mean? That let's say 2/5 and 1/3. So then the 4/11. And here 5/3, then 7/4 and 16/5. The numerator is bigger, right? Then we want to revise about the mixed numbers. When you have a whole number, right? When you have a whole number and a fraction together, right? Whole number and a fraction together, what we call that? We call it a mixed number, right? We call it a mixed number. How we are going to write this, children, that you see these things that you should know in a proper way. Let's say you have 2 and 2/3 for an example. How we are going to write this? 2 in the middle, you draw the line, and 2 over, I will take another number. So then without, let's say we'll take 3/5. So then here we write 3/5. By any chance, if you write it like this is wrong. It's like 23/5. Or else you write like this. So this is also wrong. But the correct way, you write 2 in the middle, that you want to have 3/5. So this is the correct thing, right? So then we will discuss how we can convert this mixed number, let's say 2, 3/5 into an improper fraction, that you get 5 times 2 plus 3/5. 5 times 2, 10. 10 plus 3, 13/5. So then if I give you the theory related to this, so what we need to do when we convert a mixed number into improper fraction, we multiply the denominator value by the whole number, right? Whole number. And you get the answer and add the numerator for that. And the whole thing we divide by the given denominator value. Right? You just see what I did. The denominator 5, I multiplied by the whole number 2. Then I got the answer 10. Then I add the numerator value 3. Then I get the answer 13. And I write the denominator as it is. So this is how you convert the mixed number into an improper fraction. Then we'll see that how, let's say they have given us the improper fraction 13/5, right? And I want to convert this into a mixed number. 13/5 means 13 divided by 5. 5 times 2, 10. And the remainder is 3. Okay. So then I write here 2 and 3/5. And I will show you that how you are going to get the values. So you get the answer here, the whole number. The remainder will be here. This will be here. This is how you do, right? Now you know how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction, or how to convert an improper fraction into a mixed number. Okay. So then the next thing that I want to revise with you, that how you are going to simplify a fraction. Children, what do you mean by simplifying? Simplifying means you make something smaller. To make something smaller, what we need to do? Obviously, we want to divide, right? If you have big thing, that if you want to make it smaller, you want to divide into small portions, no, small pieces. No? So then we want to divide. Similar to that, if you have something like this, let's say 10/15, you want to simplify this. That means you want to make it smaller. To make this smaller, you want to divide this. You want to make it smaller. So divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. For this, you want to be thorough with your multiplication tables by now. So then you divide this by 5 and you divide this by 5, you get the answer 2 and 3, right? Let's say you have something like this, 48 over 100, for an example. If you can't figure out a number which you can divide at once, right, by any chance, when you come across with the big numbers like this, what you can do, children, you just divide it by 2, if it is possible. So then what will be the answer? 24 over 50. Again, you divide by 2, right, if it is possible. It gives me 12 over 25. Can I divide this further? No, I can't. Therefore, the simplified version will be 12 over 25. Let's say another child that he is very good at multiplication table and he can do this easily. Straight away, he divide this by 4. 48 divided by 4 will be 12 and 100 divided by 4 will be 25. So then this will be the answer. Now you can understand, you get the same answer. Either you are doing it with 2 steps or 1 step, you get the same answer. And don't worry that when you are doing it in 2 steps, that you might think that whether I'm going to get more marks or whether I'm going to get lesser marks, that as I'm not using that the advanced version. No, it's not like that. It's up to you. But the problem that when you're not if you are not thorough with the multiplication table and if you are doing the steps like this, that you have to struggle with the time in the exam. That's the only problem or the issue you are having when you are doing it with the steps. And if you are not thorough with the multiplication table, other than that, whatever the method you are following, it doesn't matter, children, right? So then I explain about you the signs. Then, yeah, converting the mixed numbers. So then the simplifying the fractions. Yeah, I want to explain you the next thing. It's about the factors and the multiples. Children, that will talk about the factors. So if you can remember, right, we have learned these things in grade 6 that if you want to take the factors of 12, right, how we are going to get this? 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. So then how we are going to write the answer? Factors of 12. So you open the curly bracket and you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay. So then by any chance, if they ask you to write the prime factors, so before that we want to get the prime numbers. Now, what are prime numbers? What are prime numbers? It's prime numbers, the numbers which we can divide only by 1 and itself, right? Only by 1 and itself. The numbers which we can divide, I will read the numbers which we can divide only by 1 and so the numbers which are having only 2 factors. I'll show you how it works. Now let's say that you have something like this. You have that, what are the examples I can give you that I'll explain here itself. So then the example I can get 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and it's going on. Then I put the comma and 3 dots. So then here you want to understand 1 is not a prime number. So, and 2 is the only even number we can see in the prime number. Okay, so these things you should know. So then the 1 is not a prime number, 2 is the only even number we can see in the prime number list. So then here, if they ask me to write the prime factors of 12, right? Prime factors of 12, how do I write? Prime factors of 12, right? Now, that earlier I wrote the factors of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. And what are the prime factors out of those factors? What are the prime numbers I can see? Only 2 and 3. Right? Only 2 and 3. Right? So if they ask you to write factors of 12, that you create the tree like this: 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and you write down all the numbers you had ascending order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. But if by any chance, if they have asked you to write the prime factors of 12, you write it as 2 and 3. Now I will get another version of this. Sometimes they will ask, write 12 like this. They ask us to write 12 as a product of its factors, right? You get this kind of question. When you get this kind of question, how you are going to write? 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. When you get the answer question like this, write 12 as a product of its factors, different students, they might select that one of these answers. One of you might have written that 1 times 12 is 12. Correct answer. Another child, he has written that 3 times 4, 12. So that is also a correct answer. Or 2 times 6. That is also a correct answer. But if they have asked you to write something like this, write 12 as a product of its prime factors, so this answer will be different, right? So if you want to write the answer like this, write 12 as a product of its prime factors, the way you want to do is different. Already you know what are the prime factors of 12. It is 2 and 3, no? So then what I do, I take 12 and I divide this by 2, starting from the lowest prime factor, prime number, right? So you can start dividing by 3 also, but start from 2. So then the smallest possible one. So this becomes 6. Again, I can divide this by 2. So this becomes 3. Now I can divide this by 3. This becomes 1. So then 2 times 3 will be equal to 12. So that means 2 to the power 2 and 3 is equal to 12. So if they ask the question, write 12 as a product of its prime factors, so this is the only answer all of you should write. But if they ask to write the 12 as a product of its factors, so then 3 different answers we do have. The different students, they might select different answers. But if they ask you to write 12 as a product of its prime factors, all of you should get the answer like this, right? So then we will move to the highest common factor and the multiples. So then I'll first explain the highest common factor, right? Highest common. So simply we call that the HCF, if you can remember that how we are going to get the highest common factor, that I'll write the question. Let's say I want to find the HCF or the highest common factor of 8, 12 and 24, let's say. When you have such a question, children, so quickly you list down the factors of 8, 12 and 24, right? Quickly you can do this. 1 times 8, 2 times 4, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, so 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. So then you pick the common factors here. That 1 is common, okay? then if you take that 2 is common, then what else common? That 4 is common. 8 is common at 8 and 24, but it is not common with 12. So then these are the 3 numbers we can consider as the common factors. The first we will write common factors. Common factors of 8, 12, 24. What are the common factors? So we write 1, 2. Out of those common factors, I'll extract 4 and what it is. So that is the highest common factor. Highest common factor. Right? So then the different teachers, they will explain you different methods to get the HCF, right? But here that I prefer to have this method. We can do this quickly and it is very visible. So quickly you copy that, they write down the factors of each number. Then you highlight the common factors. Out of the common factors, 1, 2, 4, you can see 4 is the highest common factor, right? So we'll double check whether we did a mistake. No, that's the highest common factor. Then we will move to the next one, the lowest common multiple. Before going for the lowest common multiples, I'll explain you what are multiples, children. So multiples are like this, that is simply your multiplication table. So then if I ask you to write the multiples of 5, how you are going to write? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on. So then if I ask you to write multiples of, let's say, 8, how do you write? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and so on, like this, right? So then this is how you write the multiples. So then if you want to write the common multiples, the lowest common multiples, again, the different teachers, they explain different methods for this, but I prefer to have this method. Let's say lowest common multiple, or else we call this the LCM, right? How do you do this? Let's say that we do have we'll get the same 2 numbers. So then the LCM of 5 and 8. The preferred method I take, that I write 5 and 8 and I start dividing them by the prime numbers. Keep this in your mind. We want to divide them by prime numbers. Starting from the lowest possible prime number. The lowest possible prime number is here 2, no? So I can't divide 5 by 2. I keep it as it is. And 8 divided by 2, it is 4. And I again divide this by 2 because 4 is divisible by 2. Then again 5 I write as it is, 2. Again I need to take 2, 5 and 1. Then I select the next prime number here the next prime number is 3. But I can't take 3 here because it is not divisible. So then I move to the next prime number, that is 5. So then 1 and 1. So then how do you get the LCM of 5 and 8? You multiply all the numbers here 2 times, 2 times, 2 times 5. And the answer is 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 5, 40. Then the LCM of 5 and 8, 40. We'll see that what else we want to discuss. Yeah. Yeah, now we will move to the example of this. Now, you have, right, 28 divided by 42. Okay, what you should do, you want to simplify this now. Simplify means you want to make it smaller. To make it smaller, what you can do, you divide this by 2. What is the answer? 24 over that is, sorry, 14. 14 over 21. Can I divide these two numbers by 2? No, I can't divide both by 2. 14 I can, but 21 I can't. Then I'll move to the next, the possible one. 3 is not, 5 is not. Then I'll take 7 here, like this. So then it gives me 2 over 3, right? So now this is the first method and this is the second method. You can use either method. It is based on your knowledge on the multiplication table. If you are good at multiplication table and if you can easily do this, and you can do this. And the other thing, but these two, the few topics, we are not using the calculator. Keep that in your mind. In your book list that you have the calculator, and what you are doing, that what I can advise to the parents, don't give the calculator yet. So then I'll tell you that at which moment they want to have the calculator. Don't give them the calculator. Ask them to do all these sums by themselves without using the calculator. Otherwise, they are going to uh, face a very difficult situation, because in the exam you have the calculator mode questions and the non-calculator mode questions. Therefore, be ready for that. So then here, the simplification you can do in different ways. Then I'll go to the other example. 0.8 and 1 over 1.6. Here, when you come across with the decimals, if you want to simplify, my suggestion, first you remove these decimal states. How we are going to remove that, children? You multiply this by 10. Why by 10? Because we have only one decimal place. So then this become 8 over 16. Now it's easy for me to do this. I straight away divide this by 8. Then my answer will be 1 over 2. Or that if you are not familiar with the multiplication table, you can divide this by 2, starting by 2, and you can continue like earlier, right? If you have just the whole numbers, you don't want to worry. You start dividing by a common number, both numerator and the denominator, and get the smaller version. If you come across with the decimals, first you want to remove the decimal state. For that, you want to multiply by 10, 100 or 1000 based on the number of decimal places. Here we have only one decimal place. Therefore, we just multiply it by 10. Okay. Then here we want to change 0.4. For that, I'll go to the book. It's like this. Now, if you have 0.4, I write it as a fraction 4 over 10. Now, you will realize the pattern. If it is 0.7, the pattern is 7 over 10. Hope you can understand what I am doing here. I didn't explain, but I just wrote, and to understand by yourself, you just see. When you have the one decimal place, it is out of 10. When you have 2 decimal places, it is out of 100. When you have 3 decimal places, it is out of 1000, right? Let's say you have something like this. Now you have 2.1. Now you want to convert. Here that we do have 2 methods. I'll explain both the methods. One method we can write 21 over 10, and you can write here that the 2 1 over 10. That is one method. Or I will tell you that what to do. 2.1, I write it as 2 plus 0.1. 0.1 I can write as 1 over 10. Then I write 2 plus 1 over 10. That means the final answer is 2, 1 over 10. Now you might think that I'm explaining things here and there because I want to revise all the basics and come to a conclusion that where you can handle and where you can deal all the exercises you have in exercise 1 and 1 star here, right? And here, this is how you want to convert. And let's say you have another fraction. So those fractions that on the other hand, if you have 2 over 10, simply you write it as 0 over 0.2. Let's say you have 7 over 10, you write this as 0.7. Let's say you have 38 over 100. We just write it as 0.38. Let's say you have 6 over 100. You want to keep 2 decimal places, but you have only 1 digit now. So then you write 0.06. Let's say you have 407 over 1000. So then how do you write? 0.407. But you have 47 over 1000. Now what happened? With 1000, you want to have 3 decimal places, but in 47, you have 2 digits. So then you take the 0 and write it, right? So then if you are struggling with these basics, children, please go through them very well and recall everything you have. So then the next one, yeah, so then you can do 2 over 5, let's say. You have something like this. You have 2 over 5. What you should do, you divide 2 by 5. So how many 5s are there? 0. You put the 0. Then you take an imaginary 0, put the 0, the decimal here. 5 times 4, 20, and you have the answer here. Then you write the answer like this. Let's say you have 5 over 8. For an example, what we do, that I divide 5 by 8, right? 0, then here it is 0, and 5, you take the imaginary 0, so 8 times 5, 40, and then you take the, I made a mistake, 8 times 6. 8 times 6, 48, and then 2, take another imaginary 0, 8 times 2, 16, then take another imaginary 0, 8 times 5, 40, you get the 0, and the final answer 0.625. Right, so that means you can do exercise 1 and exercise 1 star, right? So then the homework will be exercise 1, all the sums, and exercise 1 star, all the sums. So that will be your homework, and the next week we will discuss the multiplication, but I'll release the answers and the discussion by Wednesday. So you want to complete exercise 1 and 1 star. right? By any chance, if you didn't understand anything, please go through the video one more time. Complete your note well, copy down all the examples I gave you in your theory book. And when you are doing the sums, you want to move to your exercise book and do the sums there. Don't do any of the sums in your theory book. Hope all of you understood what we discussed here. So be in touch, subscribe the YouTube channel and click the bell icon to get all the notification related to the lesson. Now you know the pattern. Every Saturday you get the theory lesson and every Wednesday you get the homework answers, the discussion. Then the next Saturday again you get the lesson. So then that is how it flows. So be in touch. See you children. Have a nice weekend and be safe.